Behind me, I have the Block Blue Light Elite XL red light therapy panel. It's rather big, huh? Well, is it? Maybe it's a bit too small. More on this later in the video. For now, let's get into the review. So this is Block Blue Light's latest panel, at least at the time of filming. It is the bigger brother of the Block Blue Light Mega, which placed second in my 2024 comparison series. So all of those key features are in this larger Elite, which means it's probably going to be a good panel. Now, of course, the company behind the panel have been in the space for many years now and are highly regarded, not only in terms of quality products, good value, but also their customer care. Oh, actually, another good thing about this company, they have warehouses scattered all around the world and they offer some really good shipping rates. And again, I'll touch on this later in the video. Now, when it comes to the Elite, this has 720 dual chip LEDs. It has all your key features such as dimming, pulsing. It has a really nice touchscreen. It's very, very responsive. And it is one of the nicer control screens I have used. It comes with all the key accessories you need, including this handy remote. It comes with a wall hanging bracket. At the moment, I have mine hanging from one hook. It also comes with door hanging hooks if you want to hang it from the back of your door, or you can get some other stands. As well as the accessories, there's also a really nice and very informative manual. Now, as you can see, the panel is rather tall. Now, it's not quite a full head to toe size panel. It measures 62 inches tall by 16.5 inches across, which is 156 centimeters tall by 42 centimeters across. Now, to put that in perspective, I'm 178 centimeters tall. It's currently a couple inches off the ground. So again, not quite full coverage for me, both vertically and horizontally. Weight-wise, it is 55 pounds or 25 kilos. Now, there's 5 wavelengths built into this. Let's pull out the spectrometer and see exactly what it's putting out. All right, so Block Blue Light claim there are 5 wavelengths. 50% of the power is going to red light and 50% near infrared light. The red is split between 630 and 660, and the near infrared is split between 810, 830, and 850. So let's have a look what is going on. All right, nice. Well, here's a good reading showing 5 different wavelengths. So we have a peak at 633 and another peak here at 665, 666, so it's all good. And then over in the near infrared, we have 811, 837, and 860. So they're all, or some of those wavelengths are a little bit higher than listed. 860 versus 850, it's not a real big issue because I mean, 850's there, so you're still getting a heap of light at 850. Typically, I give companies a margin of error of 5 nanometers. Some of these are maybe slightly beyond 5, but not a real bad discrepancy. Okay, now let's look at the power numbers. Okay, so the claimed power figures for this particular panel are 189 milliwatts over centimeter squared at 6 inches for a solar meter, but we look at the light spectrometer meter readings, which are a lot more accurate, so it's great that Block Blue Light have this figure here, and they have a figure of 90 milliwatts over centimeter squared. Now, as for how my numbers look, well, if you head over to Light Therapy Insiders and pull up this shopping tool, what I've done is sorted all the data by body panel. You can see the Block Blue Light panel here. Now, what's interesting is the peak reading, the highest reading I got was actually 99 milliwatts over centimeter squared, which is higher than Block Blue Light's listed 90 milliwatts. However, this was just a snapshot, just one particular area where there was quite a high reading. I couldn't get any other figures like that as I moved around. Instead, what I do is I take an average. I take 9 different readings and average it out. The figure came out to be 77 milliwatts over centimeter squared. When you compare this to the other panels I've tested, you'll see that it is second overall. It is just behind the Rouge Care at 79 and above the latest Rodeo Refine 3600. So it's a good amount of power there. Speaking of power, if you actually look at total power, we'll sort it from highest to lowest. The Block Blue Light Elite is in third place at 415 watts, well below the other 2 panels I just mentioned. And that is because there are a lot less LEDs in the Elite compared to these larger panels. More on this later in the video. Okay, so how much does all of this cost? Well, it retails for $3,499 US. Now, I have been given a discount code and a discount link. They are down below. You have to click the link and order through that link, and you're going to save 15%. It's a huge saving I actually get a little bit of a commission. I'm affiliated with this company, so it's a win-win for all. And that's going to bring the price down to $2,975 US. What about shipping? Shipping is $14 in America, and it's actually $14 to most countries around the world. This is because Block Blue Light have warehouses in New Zealand, Australia, the UK, and America. So they should be shipping relatively close to your home. And if they are shipping into, say, the EU, Block Blue Light will cover any customs or import duties, which is really, really good. Hey, really quick, if you're enjoying this video, scroll down and just hit the like button. It helps me know what videos I should do more of. If you like these reviews, hit the like button. I'll see there's lots of likes coming through, so I will do more reviews. Also, while you're down there, hit subscribe. You'll be notified not only of more reviews, but also interviews. I've recently interviewed the founder and CEO of Block Blue Light, so you can check that out. It's a really great interview. Plus interviews with other company founders, researchers, and an assortment of people who are very knowledgeable and passionate about red light therapy. Okay, let's get back to the review. Now, as for a warranty, this particular panel has a 5-year warranty, which is massive. There's also a 30-day return period. And if you're looking for stands, well, remember there is an included wall-mounted bracket. It's similar to what I've used with my Biomax 900 panels. That does come included with this particular panel. Otherwise, you get the door hooks. But if you want to get some bigger, heavy-duty stands, there are 2 options. You can get the manual stand, which allows you to use this panel in a vertical or a horizontal setup. That's about $500, or a motorized stand, which personally is well worth the investment, and that's $900. You are given an option to add those stands to your cart when you're placing an order for this particular panel. Okay, now for the pros and cons. First up, what do I like? Well, I forgot to mention the sound reading before. It was 43.5 decibels, which is actually quite low, especially for a panel of this size. I remember only a year or 2 ago, anything under 50 decibels for a smaller wall panel was considered good. So 43, as you can see here, it's just a nice soft background wear. Not too bad at all. I like that it comes with a remote and a battery, big plus. I like that it has dimming. I like that it has pulsing. Well, no, people should like that it has pulsing. I personally don't really use the pulsing, but hey, it's in here if you want to use it. I actually like that the power plug is nice and low on this panel, right down the bottom. It means you get a lot more practical use out of the included cord. The 5-year warranty is really, really good. Saying that, you're buying from a company that's been in the space for 4 or 5 years. I mean, red light therapy space. However, this company has been in the biohacking wellness space for about 8 or 9 years. And if you've seen my Facebook survey on customer service for Block Blue Light, you'll see that they actually have some really, really positive reviews. I'll put a link to that survey down below, as well as surveys to other companies. Actually, if you haven't already jumped into the Facebook group, you should do that. There's like 9 or 10,000 people in there. We're talking all things red light therapy. And if you're new to red light therapy, head over to Light Therapy Insiders. We've got a great 101 starter's guide to red light therapy. I like the touchscreen. It's nice and big, easy to use, makes sense, very responsive, which I think is very important for anyone that's used touchscreens. I like the 5 wavelengths. I like that there's 17% of energy going to 810. A lot of people will like that. However, some may argue they want more, 25%, 33% even. But hey, there are actually panels out there that do have a lot more 810. Speaking of panels that have different wavelengths, I actually have a shopping tool that compares all of the wavelengths. I feel like this has just randomly turned into a big promotional section, but hey, there's a lot to cover here, a lot to tell you guys about. So I have a shopping tool with about 70 odd panels in there, every panel I've tested, and you can go through and do some comparisons and find the right panel for you. So links are all down below. But back to the Elite XL. 5 wavelengths, great power output, dual chip, so you're getting a nice blend, nice coverage of light. And you've also got those stand options. If you want to get this and you want to lie under it or move it around the room, for instance, you can go out and get a few stands. The stands are a little bit more expensive than some of the competitors, but it's good that they have those options, especially the motorized stand. That's my pick if you are getting a stand. Spend the money, get the motorized one. Another big plus is if you are an international customer, i.e. you live outside the USA, Block Blue Light is quite an attractive option because they do have those warehouses, they do have the great customer care support, they do cover import duties. It means, you know, you can get a panel like this shipped to your door in Dubai or Australia or America or Canada or France for not a lot of money. I mean, some companies don't even ship outside of their home country, and then others do ship internationally, but you pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars. You got to remember, this weighs 25 kilos. It comes in a big box. So to know you can get it shipped to your door for 15 bucks, it's pretty good. Okay, now the final thing I need to talk about is its size. Now this is where it's a murky situation. There's pros and cons. So let's run through the cons. First up, it's large. It's what I call a body panel because it's treating the body, most of the body. I'd say it treats the core of the body. Like if I stand in front of it, you can see that my arms are outside the panel. The top of my head, remember this is a few inches off the floor as well, is going to be off the panel. So it's not full coverage, but it's still better than a typical wall panel, which really only does a quarter of the body. So it's good, but it's not great, and I'll come back to this. The other good thing about it though is one person can move it. I mean, it's 25 kilos, there's a bit of weight here. When it comes to those really large 1200 LED panels like the Royo 3600, the Rouge Ultimate, they're very, very, very heavy. You need two people to get it off the truck or the van to set it up. I mean, I managed to do it by myself, but you really need two. With this, you can do it by yourself. Not only that, you can hang this from a hook. This is currently hanging from one hook, 2 screws into the wall. It's fine. I couldn't do that with those other panels. They're like twice the weight of this one. Also, this can be hung from the back of a door. It comes with the included door hooks. I know the founder of Block Blue Light, Daniel Ebbett, he personally has one of these hanging off his door. You can't do that with the larger panels. Not only are they too heavy, they're literally too tall. You just couldn't fit them on a door. So that's kind of interesting. It opens up different use cases where you now have a panel that is treating 80–90% of the body. It's still small and light enough that you can move it around or put it on the back of a door. And also it's coming in at a slightly lower price point. So there's benefits to this slightly smaller body panel. Another big benefit is the electrical current that this particular panel draws. This is only important in America where you have your 110 volt power plugs. So the Elite XL draws 11 amps from the socket. In America, every standard plug can go up to 15 amps. So you can plug this in anywhere, away you go. You're not going to have a problem. With those other larger panels that I was just talking about before, some of them are rated at 17 or even 20 amps. That means you need a special rated power plug. Now, I have heard some people are successfully running these larger panels off a regular power point anyway, but there's still that risk that it may not work or it's going to trip your circuit. That's not the case with the Block Blue Light Elite, so that is a big selling point. Okay, now for the downsides. First up, there's no remote here. Comparing it to, say, Platinum LED, Radiotherapy, I think Huga, Mitre Light, Mitre Red Light, they all have apps. Block Blue Light doesn't. Do you need an app? No, not really. But with all of these advanced features, pulsing to me, all of those functionalities, an app is kind of handy. Secondly, there's no real unique wavelengths here. I mean, you've got all the core wavelengths and you've got a lot of energy going to 810, which is a big plus, but you don't have blue light, you don't have amber, you don't have green, you don't have 1060 nanometer near infrared light. Do we need these? No, of course not. Are they attractive? Are they a selling point? Yes, of course. It's funny though, because a couple of years ago, a panel with 5 wavelengths was quite amazing. It was a standout. Now that's the new baseline. If I was being extra critical on this front, some may argue that 17% of energy going to 810 isn't enough. Personally, I think it's fine, but again, there may be nitpickers out there. Next, you have to look at price. Yes, this comes in at exceptional value. It's about $7.20 per watt of light, which is really, really good. A year or two ago, I used to say anything under 10 is great. However, when you're comparing this to the larger panels, the 1200 LED panels, it is slightly more expensive from a value point of view. What that means is you may think, well, should I just spend a little bit more money and get a panel with 1200 LEDs instead of a panel with 700 LEDs? And now that's a decision I'm going to help you with in another video. Be sure to subscribe and I'll talk about more of this video very, very soon. But it is something to think about. Again, head over to the Light Therapy Insider's shopping tool, do some sums, play around with everything, and it will help you make an informed decision. However, the biggest downside, and you probably guess it, is that size. Yes, it's good for the reasons I've just explained, but it's not perfect. If I just want one panel, I'm like, you know what? I'm sick of clipping all these panels together and playing around with power cords. I just want one. This falls ever so slightly short. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drop it on the floor here. Okay, so I'm standing next to it and it's on the floor. So this means I'm gonna get coverage on my feet, on my ankles, my calves, my knees, hips, my torso, the inside of my shoulders, and then through to my throat. I'm not going to get anything on my head, and I'm not getting my arms. So I can pull it back up and get my head But now all of a sudden I'm missing my ankles and my feet. Does that matter? Some people may want ankle coverage, but they've sprained their ankles, or they do a lot of hiking, or they get a lot of swelling in their feet. So you have to choose one or the other. Same thing with the arms. Most people may not worry about it, but if you're an athlete, if you're a kayaker, if you're in the gym and you want to get some light onto those arms, all of a sudden now you have to move side by side to treat the whole body. So that's a bit of a stumbling block. It means you get something like this and you have to think, do you get 2? Or should you just go back and get the mega and just get 4 of them instead? It's this in-between size. One thing I will mention though, it could be good that it is chin down. In fact, there's quite a good selling point here, because the more I learn about red light therapy, the more I realize you don't really need a lot when it comes to the face if you're just trying to treat for beauty or aesthetics point of view. These panels are very powerful. They're going to put a lot of energy out and you're going to get deep penetration. If you didn't want that deep penetration on your face, what you could do is use this panel, neck down, and then have like a mask or a lower powered panel sitting on top of it just for your face. Something to think about. Again though, you've still got the issue with the width. So that leads me to the conclusion. Is this a good panel? Yes. Does it have wavelengths that are scientifically proven to work and to provide benefits? Yes. Is it a good price? Yes. Is it good value? Yes. Are you buying from a good company? Yes. It ticks all the boxes. Is it easy to use? Yes. Happy days. However, like I always do in these videos, I always say, well, what are the other options? Before you rush out and buy this, what else could you buy? And this is where we have to take a good hard look at those larger body panels. Now, I'm going to do a separate video on this because it's such a big topic. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to get all of these panels in one room and I'm going to do a mega test, a mega comparison. It's going to be really fun. It'll be out sometime later in 2024. If you're watching this in 2025, it means it's already out, so you can check it out down below. But that video will help you decide which one is the best. Now, funny thing is, I just spoke to Daniel Weber, the founder of this company. I needed to get some clarification on some of the features in this panel. And you know what he told me? He said, you know what? We're going to release a big body panel. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, we're going to release a 1200 LED panel. I couldn't believe it. I said, does this make my video that I'm literally about to film redundant? He said, no, of course not. We'll keep this one, but we're going to have the larger one as well in 2025. So if you're liking the look of this panel and you think, wow, this is perfect, amazing, great, and then you hear my negative thoughts on the size, just remember Block Blue Light are going to come out with a larger one. So be sure to hang around for that review. Now, back to my comparisons. If you want to spend a few $100s more, then you can go out and get a Royo 3600. It's slightly less powerful, but it's a much larger panel, 1200 LEDs. It also has the built-in smart modes. It has an app. So that is quite an attractive offering. Rouge Care also have a panel, but at the time of filming, their panel only emits 2 wavelengths, so it's not quite as attractive. Mida Red Light have their Pro RLT line. They have a couple of panels that you could consider. They're actually more expensive and they're more catered towards the commercial user. So if you are buying this for a clinic or it's going to be used multiple times a day, check out their product range. I will have reviews coming out soon. Or the other option is you don't get one of these all-in-one panels. Maybe you can't afford it. Maybe that's the goal, but you just don't have the funds. What you do is you get a smaller panel like the Block Blue Light Mega or the Platinum LED Bimax 900. And then when you get a bit more money, you get another one, and then a third one, then a fourth one, and you build them all up into one full body panel. It's what I've been using for a couple of years now. It works good. It's not perfect, but it allows you to dip your toes into the red light therapy space and add to it as you get the funds. So lots of options. Leave your questions or discussion points below. I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback on this. Otherwise, check out this video. I think it's going to help as well. Yeah, there's really a lot of options out there, so check this out.